Ladies and gentlemen, this is the YouTube channel vlog show of inspiration and realness. Also, this is the YouTube channel vlog show of positivity, personality, and fun. This is Eric Lima Shenanigans of 1977, and now the perpetrator of these shenanigans, Big Beefy E himself from his Big Beefy Man Cave in New Bedford, Massachusetts, Mr. Shenanigans himself, and the two-time Chilling 3000 2022 End of the Year Awards winner, Eric M. Lima. Thank you very much, Mr. Announcer. Well, hello there, everyone. Welcome to yet another episode of Eric Lima Shenanigans of 1977, episode 472 of the show. We just finished watching WrestleMania, but first we're going to talk about Stand Deliver. On the next episode, we'll talk about WrestleMania Night 1. And to kick it off, the 8-person tag team matchup. Chase U and Tyler Bate, Team Chase U, Duke Hudson, Andre Chase, and Thea Hale, team of Tyler Bate against Schism. The team of Joe Gacy, the Dyad, that will be Rip Fowler and Jagger Reed, and Ava Rain, the first fourth-generation superstar in WWE history. And at a time where, Schism convinced Duke Hudson to join them, he put the Schism t-shirt on, and they thought it would be a 5-on-3 situation. But then Duke Hudson then ripped the shirt off, attacked Schism. It was all a swerve, and that gave Chase U the victory, and they retained the skull. So no Schism allowed in Chase U. Thank God. Then the NXT Women's Championship ladder match. That's right. Roxanne Perez was cleared to defend the title against Zoe Stark, Gigi Dolan, Tiffany Stratton, Lyra Valkyria, and Indy Hartwell. And there were a couple of involvements in that matchup. JC Jane got involved when Gigi Dolan was close to getting the championship and ended up knocking Gigi Dolan out, costing her a chance to win the championship. Expect those two to continue feuding. Meanwhile, Indy Hartwell, who's been taking a humongous beating in that matchup, decided to had an opportunity to even climb up the ladder, and while she was trying to climb, her abdomen and her ribs were hurting her. But as she was trying to climb up, she couldn't climb up. She needed to use her legs. But then the surprise appearance of Dexter Loomis, her husband from Index, that's right, climbed up the ladder and put her on his shoulders and helped her climb up. And she grabbed the title. Ladies and gentlemen, the new NXT Women's Champion, Indy Hartwell. And I'll tell you one thing, I did pick Roxanne Perez to retain, but here's the thing. Indy Hartwell has worked very, very hard in the Indies for a very long time, especially in Australia. And this is and ever since being on NXT, she's worked hard and hard and hard. And there were a lot of setbacks, but she finally did it. She finally became the NXT Women's Champion. So congratulations to impressive Indy Hartwell. That title is now hers. Really, really proud. In fact, this is a big day. This is a big day for Australia. And I'll explain later on the next episode when I do night 1 of WrestleMania, which is over. Then the NXT Tag Team titles were online. The Gallus Boys, Mark Coffey and Wolfgang, against the Creed Brothers, who got hyped up by Daniel Cormier, Julius Zabriskie, and the family, Tony D'Angelo and Channing Stacks Lorenzo, the underboss, and Joe Coffey came back. The brother of Mark Coffey helped the Gallus Boys retain the tag team championships. And Johnny Gargano was contemplating his matchup against Grayson Waller. Pretty Deadly stands outside Braun Breaker's locker room to see if they can ask Breaker some questions, but they know it. They said, we'll rather leave him to himself. And then the North American title open challenge. Wesley defending against Dragon Lee, Jamie McDonough, Axiom, and Ilya Dragunov. it was like a fatal 5-way, but in the end, Wesley retained the title after an awesome matchup. Grayson Waller was getting ready for his matchup. Pretty Deadly was standing outside Carmelo Hayes' locker room, and they say, but then Trick Williams interrupted them and saying that Carmelo Hayes was going to walk out with the title. Then the unsanctioned matchup, Johnny Gargano versus Grayson Waller. And this was a heck of a matchup. Grayson Waller and Gargano, they went at it like crazy. And it got to the point, the babysitter, along with Candice LeRae and Quill, they were there to watch on the matchup. And since it was unsanctioned, anything goes in the matchup. So he said, Candice, well, here, I'll get you some. So Candice brought Quill to the babysitter, holding on to Quill as they send her to the back. Send him to the back, and then all of a sudden, Candice LeRae comes out. Johnny Gargano hands her kendo sticks and starts molly-whopping Grayson Waller, and justice was served. Johnny Gargano won the match. So, got his revenge. And then Indy Hartwell came out with Dexter Lumis and holding the women's title. Candice LeRae was really excited about that. She was very shocked and surprised, and she had a smile on her face. And so everybody hugged the way back together with Indy Hartwell now as the crown jewel being the champion. I'm telling you, I'm really, really, really happy about it. It was a great moment. Then D'Angelo and Stacks were talking about... hey, listen, we'll bounce back from this. Pretty Deadly interrupts them, starts yammering on about him, and then both teams are arguing, push and shove each other before officials and referees come to separate both teams. Looks like a new feud is coming. Pretty Deadly, what are you boys thinking? Then the NXT Women's Tag Team titles were on the line. It was Fallon Henley and Kiana James defending against Alba Fire and Isla Dawn. Brooks Jensen and Josh Briggs accompanied them to the ring, and it was starting to get desperate for the champs. It took Kiana James asked Brooks Jensen to hand her the bag, and Brooks was like conflicted because he didn't want to break the rules. But Isla Dawn and Alba Fire took advantage of the situation, defeated Fallon Henley, Kiana James, and they are your new NXT Women's Tag Team Champions. So far, there were 2 title changes, and both of them were in the women's division. Indy Hartwell, your new NXT Women's Champion, while Alba Fire and Isla Dawn, new NXT Women's Tag Team Champions. This is Isla Dawn's first championship in the WWE. But the NXT title was on the line. Braun Breaker, Carmella Hayes, they went at it. Now, there was a situation, and I saw this on Twitter. I'm sure a lot of people will give their opinions on it. Giselle Shaw had to Impact Knockout. Giselle Shaw came out as trans. I think over a few months ago, last year or something like that. And unfortunately, and she was at WrestleCon, a wrestling convention, WrestleCon in LA. And someone was making derogatory remarks saying, "You're a man, get out, you don't belong here, yada yada yada," and all this. And she was kind of looking her head down. She looking her head down because she didn't want to acknowledge the hate. But she decided, well, I'm going to look around because the person kept talking. Come to find out, it's Rick Steiner. So my main and a lot of people were upset with Rick Steiner. Said a lot of things about Rick Steiner, and he's an old school. He's a bully. Even Jericho spoke out. Most of the people in wrestling spoke out against him, and all that. My main concern was, will the words of Rick Steiner affect his son, Braun Breaker? And because of that, I mean, and the timing of it is kind of dubious. But my main concern is, will it affect Braun Breaker? That's the thing. Because sometimes the internet, if you're associated with somebody that people don't like, you get harassed upon. Simple as that, and they want you canceled and all this good stuff. So I was like, okay. So, I mean, I respect Giselle Shaw. She held her own in Impact Wrestling. She knows that she's playing the heel perfectly. She's doing a good job on Impact. That's the thing, So I'm just going to leave it at that. And like I said, my only concern is will it affect Braun Breaker down the road. That's another thing too. Because sometimes, again, association, guilty by association. Braun Breaker. I think Braun Breaker was too busy focused on his matchup to worry about this at the moment. And I'm sure in the back of his mind, if he read some tweets, he'd be going, "Oh man, why now?" You know what I mean? So I kind of, so unfortunately, but that could be a speculation because it was a great matchup. Carmelo Hayes did beat Braun Breaker, your new champion. Braun Breaker did hand him the title and lifted up his wrist as a sign of good sportsmanship, which is respect. So that's good. And I'm sure in the back of Braun Breaker's mind, he's probably thinking this, what what his father said may have cost him, And that's got to be having to run this through his mind. But at the same time, rumor has it he's going to make the main roster and all that. And so this is going to be very interesting to say the least of what's going to happen now. So I don't know what your thoughts on the Braun Breaker, Carmelo Hayes. Do you think the title changed hands because of what Rick Steiner had said about Giselle Shaw, even though, the man is old enough to make his own decisions and own words as far as Braun Breaker is concerned? Or will it be the reasoning for the title change is because he may move up to the main roster and challenge for championships there? So, the timing of everything is very dubious, if you ask me. So, a lot of people thinking that, So I really don't know. Is anybody else witness this and everything else? And so, a lot of things in question in the post. So I'm not going to pass judgment until we hear the whole thing. So, but I got a hunch. That was because that's the only thing that concerned me is will it affect Braun Breaker. So we'll eventually find out when we eventually find out. The night after WrestleMania will be this Monday night on Raw. As you know, I'll be on vacation this week. So that is NXT Stand and Deliver 2023. And next up, night 1 of WrestleMania 39 results. Okay? So, if you like this video, please, press or like any other videos I made, please press the subscribe button, ring the bell for notifications for our next upcoming video. You can give it a like if you want to. If you don't, that's fine. It doesn't bother me much, and that'll be all. So that's all for episode 472 of Eric Lima Shenanigans of 1977. So I will see you guys later. You guys have a wonderful, wonderful night. Be blessed. And Sox won today. I meant to say that. The Red Sox won. Yay! I'm really excited. So good night, and see you next episode. Until that next episode comes rolling around, Mr. Announcer, please take us home. That is all for today's episode of the show. This is Mr. Lima speaking for Eric Lima Shenanigans of 1977. A Big Beefy E, doer for Bob Saget production, and in association with A Sweet Bowl for Raving Dingleberries Telepictures and Distribution. Thank you for watching another great episode of Eric Lima Shenanigans of 1977. Until the next episode, goodbye for now.